Hello everybody, we're back today for this week. We don't have a video on my tank, that's going to be for next week. I've got all that planned. I've got a big video planned for next week, but for today we've got a video on my dad's tank, which is twice the size. It's 250 litres. It's an EA Aqua Reef Pro 900. It's 90 centimeters by 50 by 60. It's running two Kessil A360Xs with the reflectors on. There's a big Tunze Skimmer, Jecod return pump, two Jecod wave pumps. As you can tell, it's a mixed reef. There's some LPS, some soft coral, mainly SPS. There's a lot of aquaporas, you can see at the top there. I do a video on this tank maybe every month or two. It's been probably at least 4, maybe 5 months since my last update on this, so I'm going to try and keep track with all the updates on this. So a lot's happened. A little bit of change in the aquascape with the rocks. Corals have been shifted about quite a bit. Lots been going on. Parameters have stayed pretty stable. There is quite a lot of fish in here. Not a lot of fish, but there are quite large fish. You've got a very big copper band butterfly fish here, and also a regal tang, which is only just starting to grow up. It's getting to a decent size now. Eventually the tank's going to get the tang is going to get too big for the tank eventually, but you've got quite a bit of time before that happens. There's also two wrasses. There's a yellow chorus wrasse, there's a peacock wrasse up there. There's also two blennies, Midas blenny down here in his little hole, you see right there. There's an algae blenny somewhere, and there's also a damselfish and two clownfish. This is the sump layout, pretty simple. Like any other sump, you've got the filter sock into there, then you've got the skimmer, and down there we've got biological. And then you've got the return pump and heater in there as well. This is the doser up here. It's a 3-channel doser, dosing Red Sea's Reef Foundation, alkalinity, calcium and magnesium. Down the side of the tank is the ATO reservoir. That is a 25 litre. This tank is currently in the stage where over the next probably 2 to 3 months, most corals, such as mainly the aquaporas at the top here, will very much start to grow. They are already starting to slowly take off now. As you can see, lots of growth since the last update on the tank. You can also follow his channel called Nathan Willard. There's a link in the description to follow up weekly updates on the tank. I'm pretty sure it's just over a year, just coming on a year old now, just over a year old, which is that stage where most tanks will start to take off now. Corals will really start growing. The tank will start stabilizing, barely get any algae. Well, the tank's kind of always been like that really. It's not really ever been much algae in there, just quite a bit of coralline, which is good. No hair algae at all. No, I had a couple issues with cyano, but Cyano RX has treated that very, very quickly. Most of you may know that a copper band butterfly fish usually don't last in captivity for around 3 to 6 months. This one's been here for much longer than that, I'm pretty sure, and it's been eating these mastic pellets on top of there. Goes up there multiple times a day, also with probiotics spectrum pellets as well mixed into it. Very much enjoys that, because the issue with these copper bands is feeding them. They are very fussy with foods. They will go to the point where they don't even, well, they completely starve themselves out and die because they're very fussy with their foods. But this one has been very into its mastic. This one is getting to quite a decent size as well. It's probably, I wouldn't say it's not quite max size. He's gone down the back now. Should come out the front. There it is. It's getting to a quite decent size now. It's probably about medium. It definitely has got some more room to grow. Get probably a little bit bigger than that. There hasn't been one issue with this tank for quite a while, really. It's been quite stable and quite, obviously you've got the few issues. There's been a bit of cyanobacteria issues that have been quickly and easily treated by this stuff right here. It's really good stuff. Just do a few doses of this and it just gets rid of cyano in literally days. I've used this I think 2 or 3 times now when I've had the issue. Yeah, really good stuff. A little bit pricey, it is a bit expensive, but it's pretty much the only way of getting rid of cyano, especially really quickly as well. It's also being treated with quite a lot of water changes, which is good. I'm not too sure how often, but there are quite decently large water changes, 25-30% water change on this tank quite often, which from my experience really does help a tank mature and stay stable, keep all the nutrients low, which by the way, phosphate is at 0.1, which is quite high. It's not high, but you know whether or not it's high, because if it was too high, then there'd be quite a lot of algae growing on the glass, on the rocks, all over the place, but there isn't, so it's obviously not too high. All the corals seem to like all that extra phosphate in the tank as well. And nitrate is at 2 ppm, which is again is a pretty good level. Probably, from my experience, I'd say corals might appreciate a little bit more nitrate in that. As for my tank as well, my tank's running quite dry with nutrients in the tank. I'll explain all that in my next video when I do an update on it. There are some quite large corals in here. As for this Duncan coral here, there's a big green hystrix. This is really starting to take off now, this big coral here. Same with the stylo in the corner there, purple stylophora. There's a big layer of green star polyps on the back wall, quickly spreading up towards the gate at the top there, as you can see. There's a bit of pulse core up there, starting to climb the wall. There's the algae blending I was on about earlier, underneath the green hirsuta. There's a big mixture of Monty plates. There's a red one and a green one, which you can see they're starting to swirl up and chase each other around. So that looks really cool. In the center there, you've got the GSP up there, big colony up there, some big colonies down here. Fish are always out, especially the copper band. The yellow wrasse is always out. Regal tang's always out, especially when it comes feeding time. They all kind of circle around this area. This is the side of the tank, this is where all the food drops in. So yeah, the tank's doing really good. It's stable, corals are happy, fish are happy. It's just the waiting game now, waiting for the tank to mature a bit more over the next 2 to 3 months, and many of the aquaporas will probably start growing and to becoming from frags to colonies, I would say pretty shortly. There are quite a few colonies in there already. You've got the stylo, the hystrix, the hirsuta is quite big as well. You've got a big bundle of montiporas in the middle. They're getting quite big. There's a big bush of frog spawn down there. It's just there's loads of frags down here that over the next, I'd say 3 months, 4 months, will definitely start becoming colonies, which will look very, very nice. So I'll probably do another update on this tank in the next 2 to 3 months when we see some big changes with growth. I think that'll do it for this video, guys. Thank you all for watching. Just a little bit of an overview of how the tank's been doing. Most of you probably follow his channel already. If you're not, links in the description to weekly updates on his tank. I'll do another video on this tank in the next probably month or two, once we see some good growth on the corals, some big changes. I'll do another update. So thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you soon. Bye.